all over the world, there are about over 65 million displaced people. These are people who have been forced out of their homes because of conflict and persecution. And 90% of those people end up in developing countries. So it means that those countries that are least equipped to handle such a crisis are the ones who end up bearing the brunt of it. And Jordan has, as you mentioned, taken in 1.3 million refugees, which has had a devastating impact on our country. Only 10% of them are in refugee camps. The rest are in our towns and cities, which has had a tremendous impact on our infrastructure, our resources, jobs, services, so schools, healthcare centers, hospitals. And our people are really having to pay the price because they're having to share what little they have. And I'm sad to say that, the international response has been lacking. Some countries have been generous, and we're very grateful to that, but the scale and the scope of the crisis way outpace the support that we're getting. So a country like Jordan now is committing over 1/5 of our budget to directly cover the cost of refugees. And unfortunately, some wealthy countries have walked away from their responsibility to resettle refugees. So, from my perspective, I'm extremely proud of the Jordanian people, the patience and generosity that they've shown, but it also makes me sad that they've had to pay such a heavy price because of the global inaction. This is a humanitarian issue. And it's therefore a global responsibility. Yes. It is not the responsibility of one single region or one country like Jordan, which is really in no position to go it alone in the face of such global apathy. So I hope that we can keep this issue on our radar and not just express sympathy, which we hear a lot of, but actually we need the support.
As you say, Your Majesty, a lot of the wealthier countries are not doing anything. They're not taking their responsibility. You look at the region and you have Saudi, you have all these countries that can do more. Why are they turning a blind eye?
I wouldn't say they're turning a blind eye, but I definitely think that in general, the global community really needs to prioritize this issue. I think we're living in a world where fear dominates, and I think people are fearing all the changes, the disruptive forces of change. One of them is migration, and I feel that when people are fearful, it affects the decisions they make. And unfortunately, that feeds into populist politics, which sometimes means that we shun away what's foreign and want to seek what's familiar. And that means not letting foreigners come into our country. And that's a real issue we have to face, because historically, countries have always benefited from diversity, and economies have grown when they've let other nationalities in. So I think it's a mentality of openness that we really need to embrace. With the issue of refugees and migration, until we really embrace the idea that the movement of people is part of the human experience. It's not apart from it, it's part of it. And we really need to come to terms with that. Only then can we really upgrade and remodel our humanitarian systems so that they're better able to respond to these crises. Otherwise, we'll just be limping from one crisis to the next, leaving a trail of heartbreak and broken lives behind. And I think that that's not to anybody's benefit.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.